Hi all, welcome to today's session. Today we are going to cover why to summarize the data and how good we have to summarize the data. In the last couple of videos that we have seen how to understand each feature and its data type. So now we know for a feature what is a data type and all those things. So we may apply some kind of mathematical operations on it to get some kind of interpretation out of it. So before going and applying any interpretation, we wanted to know why we are summarizing and what we are summarizing, how useful that summary should be for someone to make a decision. Without knowing that, if we are applying any kind of mathematical operation or any statistical operation and arriving some kind of data points out of it, how it is going to benefit. So whatever we are interpreting out of it, we should be presenting in a way that should be useful for someone to make a decision. Otherwise, that summarization, whatever we give, cannot benefit for any business people. So we should first understand why we have to summarize it and how good our summarization should be. That is what we are going to cover in this session. Just let's consider an use case, okay? The hospital management received a complaint on too long waiting time for patients. So management wants to understand or know about the patient's waiting time to address the complaints or to make some decisions or to plan around how to reduce the patient's waiting time. That is their overall objective. So let's take an example of a data set, what we could have received. Patient waiting time. So some patients wait for 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes, maybe again 2 minutes or 10 minutes, 15 to 3. We don't know. It differs, right? And sometimes it may be 115. It can be more than one, more than like 2 hours also they might have been waited. We don't know at this point. So we have millions of data, okay, about the patient's waiting time that we have received to do the analysis. As a data scientist, you are looking at the data set and you're thinking, what are the ways that we can summarize this data, or whether the summarized data is really useful for the hospital administration to make a decision. See, let's not put any statistical operation to arrive any conclusion. Just imagine maybe what kind of summarization data people can provide, first of all, and whether that summarized data or whatever the report they shared, whether it's really useful. So that is what the overall discussion for today. The report one says the waiting times are between 2 and 115 minutes. Actually, it's true, right? When we see at the data set, the lowest is 2, maybe the highest might be, maximum number might be 115 minutes. So the report is saying the waiting times are between 2 to 115 minutes. But this is true. We are not denying it. But just imagine whether this will help the business to understand or to interpret anything out of it, or whether they will be able to make any decision based on it. Maybe the business may ask you back. Then, generally, patients wait too long for 115 minutes. Is that really true? Because we have only given what is the minimum waiting time and the maximum waiting time. That's why business is asking, okay, uh, generally patients wait too long, like 115 minutes. No, that's not the true, right? It is not the true representative. So if you see the data, it's a very rare data point observed. It's not the true representative of the entire data set. So only knowing the minimum and maximum value in the data set does not really say what is the most common experience of the patient waiting time. So as a data scientist, we should ask more questions on data before before concluding anything. We should also know what business pain points are. What are they trying to solve for? Instead of we reporting like what is the minimum and maximum value, we should ask what is the most patient experienced waiting time. So asking what is the most patient's experienced waiting time gives some useful interpretation out of it, instead of providing what is the minimum and the maximum minutes patients has waited based on the entire data set. Now let's look back at the data set and find the most useful summary out of it. On looking at this data set, might be we might have applied some kind of statistical operation or whatever it is, and we are reporting back that most patients are waiting around 20 minutes. Let's not worry right now about how we arrived at 20 minutes. Maybe we might have applied some kind of statistical method. In the upcoming sessions, we will learn how to apply what is the right way to apply the statistical operation to arrive this kind of summaries. But right now, let's only focus on what is the best summary and why we need to summarize. So this gives the hospital administration a view on what is the typical waiting experience for a patient. So this will help them to make a decision or to plan for some kind of different strategy, how to handle it and how to reduce the waiting time for the patient. So this kind of summary will be helpful for any kind of business to address or to make any decisions. Let's take a real life analogy. You went for a vacation and you came back and one of your friends or someone is asking, how was your vacation? So if you say just good and go, it is not a whole representative of your vacation, right? Maybe you might be saying, the weather was amazing and the food was so good. And also, you might be telling about your hotel experience was up to the mark and the transit was horrible because your waiting time was too long. So, you are providing the overall experience of the vacation very crisp and representative. This is how the summary should be, right? So, it will give that experience and journey about your overall experience on vacation. So, what a best summary can have, maybe we can take like this. Your best summary should be simple. Simple in the sense it should be easy to understand because we'll be working with our stakeholders, right? Many type of stakeholders. It can be a technical and non-technical people. So our summary should be easy to understand for both technical and non-technical people. The second one is your summary should be representative. You might be having a millions of data, right? That summary should, that particular value or whatever you are summarizing and giving the value, that should represent what your most of the data looks like, not just the rare or the extreme data looks like. As we have given an example of 115 minutes, it shares only the what is the least and the extreme waiting time, right? So this does not give the entire summary of their data set. So whenever we are representing anything, the data should be a representative of the entire data set. That is more important. And the third one, maybe we can think it it should be the summary that we are providing. It should be useful for the business to make decision. So these are three things that we should always keep in mind as data scientists while we are doing any analysis and getting insights out of it. So how simple, representative and useful the summary should be. So the overall takeaway of this session is a good summary should help someone to make the right decisions from the data. So finally, so far we have seen why to summarize and what makes a good summary. And in the upcoming sessions, let's see how statistics help to summarize or represent the data well. Thank you.